Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rise. We're back here at Dream Giveaway Garage, and guess what? I have one heck of a dream car for you. It's this vehicle right here. This is a Porsche 718 Cayman, but this isn't your regular 718 Cayman. This is the mighty GT4RS. But before we get into this mid-engine spectacular sports car, let's talk about what's going on here. So for a long time, Porsche has resisted. What did they resist? Putting the same engine in the 718 Cayman that the mighty 911 GT3 has. Well, guess what? All bets are off now, because with this model, they brought it big time, and they really stuck to their guns on trying to make it really that mid-engine GT3. Because remember, 911 GT3 is a rear engine because the engine is past the rear axle. On the Cayman, the engine is nestled right there in the middle. Now, it doesn't stop with this just being the first ever GT4RS. This is also a Weissach Pkg equipped GT4RS. So what does that mean? That means you're gonna get even more of those special racing sport features, because that's what RS stands for. It stands for Rennsport, which means racing sport in German. That is gonna bring you that type of performance. Now, what I wanna find out is, even though they still kinda nicked just a little bit of the horsepower off the top from the 911 GT3, because they can't make it even, right? Because they gotta let the 911 be top dog. What I wanna find out is, at the end of the day, is the GT4RS just the better sports car all the way around? And is it the one that you gotta own? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this one and find out. Right off the bat, I love the spec. This is the GT4RS that Batman would drive, Darth Vader, and any other type of villain I could see driving this. Now, at the front of the business, you see that familiar 718 style. Love the way they work the headlight housing with your LED daytime running lamps. It's like a quadrant of them, and your LED headlight. Little bit of shiny chrome style around some of the finishes, but other than that, it's all blacked out on the interior. Working our way down, you'll notice on the GT4RS how we have extra aero. So you have your canards on the side to help channel that air that hits the front corner. You're then gonna see the honeycomb, like a big old bowl of honeycomb cereal, the honeycomb wire mesh finish for the heat exchangers that lie behind, and even more venting on the inside of that front nose. You're still gonna have the same great splitter that you see on vehicles like the GT4, the GT3, to help us give us that functional downforce. And this car has the optional front height lift so that you don't scratch anything on the lower end of this vehicle, which, remember, on the GT4 you can't get axle lifts. So this car has front axle lift as an option. You can't even option it on the GT4. Now, as we come across the front nose, more of that honeycomb finish. This is allow air to come out from the underside of the nose. Really love the way that looks, that familiar curve. You know, even though this isn't a 911, you still see those familiar Porsche design cues in there. The nice smooth curves, large open mouth down below. I love the way it's got the GT4RS name embossed in that. And then as we rise up, you're gonna see that on RS vehicles, they don't actually put a badge. This is a vinyl decal. It's all about cutting weight. Because we have the Weissach package, we have our body color black with the exposed carbon fiber, and the GT4RS comes with these NACA ducts. These allow air to flow for the brakes, and you don't create as much drag. Believe it or not, NACA, N-A-C-A, is the organization that existed before NASA. So that's where we're going with when we talk aerodynamics. We're talking about planes and jets had this type of aero technology. Now we see it on sports cars and high performance cars. But love the way you got the carbon fiber hood. You also get those carbon fiber fenders as well, because we're trying to cut weight. You'll notice the venting up top. This is not for brake cooling. Air comes out to relieve pressure underneath the wheel well. What could sometimes happen, especially on a track car, is you get pressure to build up and it actually creates lift. What this allows, this pass-through, is to allow that pressure air to be released. Now, as we work our way back down, love the aero that they do on the sides. Remember, we showed you the front. Now we're seeing the side and the back portion of all that function aero. This particular GT4RS has the PSSCs. What is that? Porsche carbon ceramic brakes. So you have those massive German Wiener Schnitzel pizza-sized rotors with our bright Twinkie yellow 6-piston calipers, Brembo setup, of course. RS model gets the center locking lug, unlike the GT4, which has your separate lug nuts. Flat satin black on the wheel. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel tire combination? You are looking at 245 on the width, that nice, smooth 35 series sidewall, and this is a 20-inch wheel, and we have, of course, wrapped with the Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. Now, this vehicle also has PASM, that Porsche Adaptive Suspension Management System. It sits about an inch lower than your standard Cayman, and of course, that suspension is going to fine-tune depending on what mode you're in, and also every nanosecond measuring the compression and rebound to give you perfect handling. But I just love, like I said, this black beauty, this black stallion really looks spectacular, especially with the yellow accents that pop. Now, another piece of aero that they did is they actually cut a portion of the side fender here to help flow air down the side of the vehicle. This type of race car design goes all the way back to the 1990s on the mighty 911 GT1 race car. And then down below, you have your GT4RS badge in that Twinkie yellow. Up top, this has a lot of options. Exposed carbon fiber on the mirror caps, that's an option. Also exposed carbon fiber on your side window triangle. That's also an option. That's not part of the Weissach package. Now, coming down the side of the vehicle, actually, let's look from the side. The Cayman is much smaller than a 911, than a current 911. And a lot of people actually refer to driving the GT4, the Cayman, when comparing it to a 911, it actually drives a lot like the older 911s because of its size. So this is smaller than a 911. Now, you have your painted black door handles, and because we have the Weissach package, we have enlarged side venting. That's all exposed carbon fiber to help bring cool air in. This is not actually for the engine. This is for brakes and for aerodynamics. Where the engine breathes, it's going to be from the exposed carbon fiber. This is part of the Weissach package. Exposed carbon fiber, enlarged venting. This feeds right into air intakes behind the passenger and the driver's head. Each side, this side and the driver's side, has an exposed carbon fiber vent, and that's really where you're going to hear that intake sound. And on the Weissach, this vent is larger, just like this portion, but this is just for the engine. This is for aero and for brakes. Now, as we come towards the rear, you still have a 20-inch wheel, but now we got a little bit extra width to it. You got a 295 out back, 30 series sidewall. You can see our 4-piston Brembo calipers, that Twinkie yellow. Of course, you're going to have an electronic limited slip diff, and you have that 7-speed PDK. Now, coming around the back, part of the Weissach package is you get the Lexan glass rear setup with the Porsche name. I like the way they chose yellow. That's all optioned. And then because this is the Weissach package, just like all the other carbon, it's all exposed. So you actually have body color in the center. This is that swan neck design. This is a rear wing style and engineering that's been taken from race cars. This actually produces less drag, but more downforce. And this thing is so large that Lori and I actually ate our lunch off of this rear wing. Working our way down, you see that great aero, the great flow. You do have a nice duck tail kick-up spoiler that goes with that swan neck spoiler, the GT4RS badge. And then we finish off as we drop down with a large rear diffuser, and those are titanium exhaust outlets on both sides. That's gonna let that flat six really, really scream. And then of course this one has an option to have the Porsche name all blacked out. But we talked about the exterior and all the goodies. This thing has 25% more downforce than a GT4. That is insane what they were able to do with the aero. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop this rear hatch and talk about the engine. All right guys, we got the rear hatch lifted. Now one thing I want to point out is you do have some cargo space back here. A lot of sports cars do not have two areas of cargo. You got cargo underneath the nose, and we have cargo back here. But the other thing I want to show you, here's the driver's side portion of that exposed carbon fiber air intake that comes into our air box. And then underneath this guy right here, that's where you're gonna find the intake for the engine. What type of engine we have? It's a 4-liter flat six, 493 horsepower. So like I said, they nipped and tucked just a little horsepower from the GT3. GT3 has 503 horsepower. This has 331 pound-feet of torque with the 7-speed PDK, 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. Top speed, 196 miles an hour. The car weighs 3,227 pounds and can do the quarter mile in 11 seconds flat at 126 miles per hour. Now, the other interesting piece of news is the reason why they use the 7-speed PDK on the GT4RS, on the GT3, on the GT4 and the GT3RS is because the gearbox is lighter. It's got 1 gear less than the 8-speed PDK, and it's a stronger gearbox to handle this type of performance. And remember, the engine, that comes straight from the motorsport side of Porsche. So you're looking at a titanium exhaust setup on the outside, but you're also getting those forged internals for that flat six. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and hear this car sing. All right guys, come on in, the water's fine. Oh man, every time I get one of these GT4RSs, I feel really fine. Now I know you're probably saying to yourself, well Joe, this has got to be pricey because it's got a lot of options on it. You are correct. This one has been optioned very well. It has an MSRP of $237,000, but the great news is you could actually win this car from Dream Giveaway Garage. But let's see what Porsche does that's so special to the interior. To the door panels, love the spec. You have the leather, you have the bright yellow Twinkie stitching, and then the optional carbon fiber dry weave trim. Working your way down, race-tex with the Twinkie yellow cloth pull strap for your door handle. Gotta cut some weight, right? And then you'll notice that you have your track day cargo net there. That's for 4 track Twinkies to give to the people that you beat. And then the front one is perfect for a German hot dog with that spicy German mustard. That's perfect for lunch. Now when you go from the door panel to the dash, the whole dash is covered in race-tex. And here's a little fun fact. The GT4RS was the first production Porsche to have race-tex on the dash. More of that carbon fiber looking good. The Weissach is the actual test track, and that's the picture, the image of the actual test track. What I always like about the Caymans is that they still have the cup holders built in. That to me is smart, but there's no way in hell you're drinking inside my GT4RS. You better hydrate before you go on throttle with me. Slide on in. You got the Sport chrono stopwatch clock up top, nicely placed. And then working our way down, we do have a dated infotainment system, but really, who gives a damn? 7 inches. It's got all of the things that you need, including this one is optioned with your navigation. Let me put in the reverse, backup camera, fairly clear. It's the older camera style, but you know what? It works, and you have trajectory. Love the way they give you carbon fiber everywhere. Real switches and knobs for your audio controls and for your AC. It is dual climate. You can adjust the temperature right there. So nice to do that. This guy right here is going to control that 7-speed PDK, race-tex. Love the yellow stitching, the race-tex on the shift boot. More of that dry weave carbon fiber, that's an option. This is where you're going to be able to open up the exhaust. You got your PDK Sport Shift and your PASM Sport suspension. Yes, there are dead buttons. No, I'm not going to zonk it because this is things for like a power sunroof, or if this was a Cayman, the top to put down. You do have a little tiny holder there for some breath mints and a 12 volt. Kids, don't smoke cigarettes. Eat candy cigarettes. Race-tex material, the stitching. Open it up. You got enough room in there for an iPhone 47 Gold Edition and a USB-A. The one zonk is there is no wireless charging in here, but it's a track car. I mean, yeah, you can drive it on the street, but this is really meant for the track, and who's charging their phone while they're hot lapping Sebring? Now behind me is that flat 6, sits nice and low in there. Love the carbon fiber, and wait until you hear the freaking sound. No other car sounds like this because no other mid-engine car has the engine in the cabin with you. Usually there's a window, a wall, something isolating you. Not with this, you and the engine are one, and I like that. This has the optional carbon bucket seats, the Weissach embroidery with the track. Look at all the exposed carbon fiber. Love the way they have the race-tex material, carbon fiber even around the areas where you have your seatbelt to click in. Speaking of seatbelt, we do have the bright Twinkie yellow optional one that's worth an extra 5 horsepower. You do have an electric lift, but there's only one other control, manual slide, which this is the race bucket seat, so that is to be expected. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I have a steering wheel with race-tex I want to show you. Come on over. All right, guys, my favorite time, business time on the driver's side. Optional carbon fiber, dry weave on the sill, and then you have this also optional Porsche design on the sill plate. It does illuminate LED at night. Pedal box right out of a race car. You have your aluminum brake pedal, throttle, and a nice large dead pedal. Seats, they are as snug as a bug in a race car rug. I will be honest, you're going to want to protect your family jewels when you get in, because you may not be able to have kids like ever if you don't. But once you're in like Flynn, and it feels so good in here. It really, really does. I'm 6 feet tall. Porsche knows about giving lots of headroom to put the helmet on, to do your track day, and then the steering wheel. Nothing but wheel. I know the whole saying is nothing but net in basketball, nothing but wheel, and this is how it should be. You got your stitching, nice Twinkie yellow, the race-tex, and then everything is hollowed out on the wheel. There's no buttons, no switches, no radio controls, Bluetooth, none of that crap. The Porsche crest, all that history staring you right in your face, and then you do have metal magnetic shifting paddles for the 7-speed PDK to do those ultra-fast shifts. And remember, this is gone on a lot of vehicles from Porsche. You still have the twist turn ignition on the left-hand side. That goes all the way back to the days of sports car endurance racing like Le Mans, when the drivers used to run to their car, they would hop in, fire her up, and get her into gear. And then of course the dash. Another piece of just some classic touches. It's got your nice large tachometer that goes to 9,000, yes, 9,000 RPM, analog speedometer, and then you have that digital display on the right that has very important information. But other than that, this thing is well laid out. There is a frunk. I don't give a damn about it because I don't want to put anything in it. What I do give a damn about is going on throttle. So if you're ready, this guy's ready. Let's go. All right, guys, we are inside this GT4RS. And if you're ready, I'm definitely ready. We are going to go on throttle. I have the shifter on the left hand side, pull to the left. That's gonna allow me to use the paddles behind the wheel. Everything else is in PDK Sport and the whole setup. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Left foot on the brake, right foot on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Ah. The sound of that flat six is really just mesmerizing. It just allows you to be one with this car, and there's no other car where you're gonna feel like you are connected to it like you are this GT4RS, and no other car where the sound is as loud. I mean, if you think about it, GT3 is pretty good sounding car, pretty loud as well, but having that flat six in here with you is just amazing. The PDK shifts so fast, not even Zeus himself can shift faster than this gearbox in here. First gear, you ready? Slow roll. On throttle, here we go. It builds torque. The torque delivery is so smooth, so linear because of it being naturally aspirated. No turbochargers, no superchargers, just very smooth. That electronic limited slip diff works so well to get the power to the ground. And then of course, the paddles are perfectly placed. This is all of Porsche's race car engineering, driving, and it's just sad that they kind of neuter the GT4RS a little bit because they can't have it outcompete the mighty 911. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's sort of like the Camaro when the Camaro exists in the Corvette. You can't have a Camaro that's faster than a Corvette. That's just not the hierarchy, so to speak. Man, this thing is crazy. If you're ready, I'm ready. Third gear. On throttle, here we go. Music. On the brakes. Look at this. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Nice. Give it to me. I love this car. I love this car. It is amazing. God, this thing is freaking amazing, man. This thing is amazing. Absolutely breathtaking. So balanced, so communicative. It's like you're a kid playing with your Hot Wheels and just have that perfect feel and control. It's doing everything you want perfectly. Dash is so well laid out. I can see the tach with that 9,000 RPM red line. And the sound is where it's at. The sound is where it's at. On throttle! Look at that. Look at that. God, it is amazing. It is an amazing piece of machinery, and somebody is going to be a lucky camper winning this car. And then you're able to stop at a Deutschmark and give everybody Wiener Schnitzel. That's how great this car is. On throttle. On the brakes. Look at this. Oh my God, it's so connected. It makes you feel so good. It makes you feel so very good in this car. Oh my God. It makes you feel like you could do anything. I mean, you are gonna look like freaking Mario Andretti in this car. The only thing that bums me out is you can't get a manual. That's the one thing that really just kind of sours it for me. But I think most people would agree that with the PDK, you're getting such an amazing setup in here that you can't beat it. You just can't beat it. I mean, it's that good. It really, really is. Just that good. And then everything's just wrapped around you so well. The carbon fiber, all of the race-tex. And when I say race-tex is Porsche's name for Alcantara. On throttle. This car will take your breath away. You better have a pack of lifesavers on you because it's gonna take your breath away. It is orgasmic, eargasmic, everything. You're gonna have eargasms for days. You're not gonna be able to sleep for a month, but it's worth it because you have a GT4RS. The last, this is it. Model year 2025, the party's over for the 718 as we know it. But it's that time, the time that I hate. We gotta get back and give this car back the Dream Giveaway Garage. Even though I don't want to, we gotta do it. So thank you so much for letting me share this black beauty with you. We're gonna get the Dream Giveaway Garage, wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day in so many ways when we come to Dream Giveaway Garage. Definitely want to thank Lori, Ryan, Chris, and the rest of the crew getting us access to their latest giveaway. Let me know what you think. Is this the must-have sports car, even more so than a 911 GT3? Let me know in that comment section your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rides family. Gotta get up to LGR. She's working that camera like a champ and got every single angle of this black beauty. Thank you, Lori, for all that you're doing. Just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.